Casino here saying, oh, baby, we got a burner. We got a burner today, baby. We got a barn burner today. Oh, yeah. Rory and Mal, Mal and Rory, whatever you want to call it, they struck back. And now everything is so clear. When before it wasn't. Everything is crystal clear. Oh, yeah. This was an ethering of Joe Budden, even though Joe Budden was a guy they weren't trying to ether. They let the narrative be known from the giddy up what this was about, how long this has been going on, and the fact of the matter is Joe Budden has been lying. Joe Budden has been lying. He's been lying to everybody, painting a false narrative. Hell, he had me believing it. I'm like, well, damn, Joe is right. If they got a contract and they're working for the company, there's no way. Why would they do an audit if they're getting paid what they're supposed to be getting paid on the contract? Why would they be asking about accounting? That doesn't even make sense. So if I'm listening to Joe's narrative, of course it don't make no damn sense. This is before the lawyers even came in, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get to the whole story. And now we got the whole story. Which always troubled me because I never understood why people considerately done business with Joe. I've asked myself that, scratching my head, why would people do business with Joe Budden? It makes no damn sense to me why anybody would do business with that man. But in their defense, this was their boy. So when somebody's your boy, you have a hard time separating what's real and what's fake. And you make allowances for things you normally would have checked. Rory and Mal sat there on that couch and they ran it down the way it was supposed to go down. Oh, it was very telling, ladies and gentlemen. Very telling. Oh, yeah, it was very telling. First off, the first lie, which was the biggest lie of all, that started this whole thing, that was predicated off of this contract lie. How could Joe Budden not mention that they have signed a percentage deal. I'm somebody who is in business, so I know what that percentage deal was like. When I did my breakdown and I was telling you, yeah, I know why Joe was saying that, but I was like, I was involved in something like that, but I owned my own part of the business. I didn't work for them. Same thing. And I didn't even know they had that deal. Now it is the same thing as my deal. It's the same thing. We have a percentage deal. So you have to see the numbers. So you can know, you got to see the numbers of everything that's coming in to know you're getting exactly what it is you're supposed to get. They don't work for Joe Budden. Joe didn't mention any of that. They don't work for Joe. Hit the like button, good people. When you have a percentage deal, they are not your employees. So they're an incentive base. So if the numbers fluctuate and don't do what they're supposed to do, they lose out on money. So a percentage deal is what you want. Because if you're Joe, a percentage deal helps you out tremendously. It's saying if the show grows and do numbers, they get paid. If the show do less, they get less. So they're going to be vested to make sure that the show is doing something. What you don't want is what he wants now is people to be on salary. Because now he knows the show is somewhere, it's at a point now where, it's going to pretty much do good. It's pretty much going to do good regardless. So you know what we going to do? Let's go ahead and do salaries. And this is what Joe want to do anyway. As they brought out and went through it, see, when you go through something with somebody, you see the big picture. Now you remember all the screwed up stuff and all the signs. And they were going through all the signs Joe was showing them. Joe has a pattern of behavior. Okay? He doesn't know how to work with others. I've told people this. Before Mal got there, they had the female on the show. Rory wasn't even there. What was her name? Marissa. And he fired her via text message because he was friends with Charlemagne, who was at Power 105, and she worked at Hot 97 and felt that, oh, you're over there with Rosenberg, and Rosenberg hates me now, and you're cool with him. Rosenberg set up the Joe Budden podcast show. He set that up. So when you're talking about, oh, Rory, I mean, he did all that. He gave you a free studio when you didn't have any money to record, to set all these things in play, because you didn't know how to run a podcast show. He did all that. And what did you do? How did you pay him back? You cut him off and said, well, you weren't doing any of the work, so I want to pay those who are doing the work. Joe Budden is the type of person who is shiesty. He believes it's all because of him. He wants all of the accolades, and when he actually has to pay out, he don't want to do it. He basically told you in his live stream, I didn't want to pay him. Now today he wants to apologize because he realized what he was saying. He was the one that was misdirecting people. Mal said, you sat there and said, Mal, I never made money with Mal. We never broke bread together. Mal's like, that's a damn lie. He not only gave details, of things that you guys did together, Mal actually gave more detail to the fact that y'all were locked up together. He wasn't no bum on the couch. You made this guy sound like he was somebody you were taking care of in your home. Okay? Marissa lived there. You lived there. Mal lived there. Mal always had some bread coming in. Mal didn't have an ego. That's why you liked that. You needed your ego. Once the money came in, you became more and more. Like he said, I never saw this dude wearing no Miri hats. Now he's wearing Miri hats. I'm like, he's changing into a whole new guy. You see that? Changing into a whole new guy. That's what he did. And because of it, everybody had to understand something. Because he did that, he's one, in violation. Two, they're all supposed to see some records of accounting. I had to do that. It's amazing because I just told that story when Joe did that firing video. I told what happened with my story. I said, okay, because it was a John Doe thing. They had never done this before. I said, okay, I need to see the accounts. I need to see how many. They said, well, we're going to send it to you. We're going to get it to you. I'm like, cool, as long as I get it. Because it's my right. And by law, it is your right to see what and how you are being paid. And if you have a percentage deal, you have to see how much money came in. Because if you're not seeing how much money came in, how could you know if you're being robbed or not? Not saying that they are. Joe took everything personal. Whenever they talked about accounting, he got really defensive and really personal. Joe agreed that both guys, that he said, okay, well, maybe y'all should take a month off. Joe agreed. It was Joe's idea that they take a month off, then said they abandoned their jobs. So Joe Budden has proven once again he is a liar and a manipulator. I believe Rory and Mal 100% because they have a percentage contract. Joe doesn't like the fact that they have a percentage deal now because now he's seeing what they're getting paid and what they really should be getting paid and going, oh my God. Because it's only going to get bigger and they're going to make more money. They brought up the YouTube deal. He said we were negotiating. They have a contract for visuals because what Mal brought up was a big factor. He said, well, look, we know what your YouTube channel was before you start putting the podcast up there. And when he put the podcast up there, he started putting the podcast episodes up that had Mal and Rory in it. So they the ones who blew the subscriptions up. That's when the subscriptions grew, when he put the podcast on there. So they're like, well, we feel like we should get a part of that because that's built on us. We know how the YouTube is cut. So, okay, we're going to get a percentage deal on the visuals. So cool. We're cool with that. Joe was like, no, y'all could just take the images and go on and make your own YouTube videos, which they should have done anyway. I felt they should have done that, but they probably don't feel like, forget it. We ain't got to do all that. But I felt they should have anyway. They should have been made their YouTube channel. So they made a response video, and I love this video. I loved every minute in this video. Because this broke down what happens when people come out to assassinate other people's characters and they don't even hear the other side. And you realize once you hear the whole story, somebody's lying. And the person that's lying is Joe Budden. 100% Joe Budden is lying. Man, Jimmy Heights. I ain't seen Jimmy Heights in 4-5 months. What, you did a bid? Oh, this has happened numerous times. Let's not get that twisted also. Let's keep that in perspective. Joe Budden sat up there and decided this was an idea that needed to be done. Mal was the guy that was on him, his right-hand man. But this goes to why Joe Budden and doing business with him is going to turn out bad. His ego is misplaced. He doesn't know how to run a business, and everything is personal to him, as he cannot blur the lines between friendship and business. So what he needs to do and what he wants to do now, because now he sees how much money he's paying out, that this incentive-based contract that is a percentage deal is not good in his favor now. Back then, it was. But when the money start coming in, oh, baby, it's not such a good deal now. Oh, it's not such a good deal no more. And the reason why it's not such a good deal, because Joe's gonna have to pay out more and more as the show grows. Now, here's the thing. Here's the news. They are not employees. Same thing I told you guys. I was not an employee. So therefore, if our partnership dissolves, that's cool, but we're going to have to see some numbers. We're going to start having to come to an agreement here on terms. Because I'm not an employee of the company. I'm a partner. Everybody's their own boss. So that means they're all responsible for themselves. Nobody's running my posse because each man is a boss. That means Rory has his own set deal. Rory's his own man. Rory's his own boss, which means that Rory has to pay his own taxes. The Joe Budden podcast don't pay his taxes. He has to pay them. They don't take out taxes for him. Mal has all of his money comes up front. He has to pay taxes on his own. Health insurance through the company, nope, they got to get their own. They're not employees. No injury hazards on the job. None of these things. They are independent contractors. Joe Budden failed to mention that they have a percentage deal, which makes his argument sound stupid now when he tries to say, you think LeBron would ask Jenny Buss for the numbers to the Lakers? You know, that sounds very stupid. If they were employees, yes, that argument would sound like, yeah, that is dumb. Because Joe made it sound as if they had regular contracts. They have incentive contracts, percentage-based contracts, which means that they have to see the numbers that's coming in to make sure that their numbers are right. So if they don't see the numbers that are coming in, and that is not on the accounting, and the lawyers said, well, this isn't right, why are you mad at Rory and Mal for wanting to see that? If you had a percentage-based contract, Joe, and the numbers weren't correct, and your lawyer said, well, this isn't right, you will be screaming at the top of your lungs at the people to get you your damn records. And then you're taking it a swipe at them. It's making it look like they're suing you or they're doing this against you. No, they just want to see the books to make sure they're getting their money right properly. And they went through a list of events that every time they've been trying to get this done, they've been doing this since 2019, y'all. 2019. Because Joe is not dumb. He knows what's going on now. What he didn't know was the fact that Rory and Mal, okay, Rory and Mal now have the position. They have leverage. Here's what he said: you've given up your leverage. You see? You've given up your leverage. They never talked about leverage. Joe's brain is thinking leverage. And the reason why Joe's brain is thinking leverage is because in his mind, he's like, man, they got all the leverage. They got a percentage-based contract. If this thing keeps growing, the more money they're going to keep getting. I don't want to pay them all of that. I don't think they're worth all that. Now he says that. He talked real greasy and disrespectful about Rory and Mal. Mal definitely added value to the show. So did Rory. And like he said Joe feels that his past record, his career, his rap career made this show what it is. And he said, we don't take nothing from Joe, but don't take nothing from us. Yeah, you did some things here, but dog, I was with you when you had them shows. They were not lining up to come see you, dog. Nobody was coming to see Joe Budden. I was with you in those towns and those shows. Joe Budden lied on them. And for everybody who thinks Rory and Mal are replaceable, there's a reason Joe went back to them. Because he knows that it works with them than the other two kiss butts that he got that's there. Which they didn't disrespect at all. They were like, we ain't got no animosity towards them. You see what I'm saying? But the average person don't know. Ice-ish. I won't say that they trash. They're not Rory and Mal. It don't work. So they was like, look, we doing this one time and one time only. That's it. Because we feel we got to tell the narrative because this dude's lying. He's the one who's in misdirection and lying to people. We like, huh? What? For real? Is this what it's about? This what it's come down to? And they said, we watched this dude change right before our eyes. I listened to every word and I understood every word. Because once they said we had a percentage-based contract, I knew right then and there Joe Budden lied about every damn thing that came out of his mouth. Everything came out of Joe's mouth was a lie. La 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 la. Because he knew they had an incentive-based contract which was percentage-based. He knew they're not employees. He knew. He knew, dog. Oh, Joe apologized today because I've seen all the backlash. I didn't want to do. They were like, man, the hell with that. There ain't nobody going with that no more. You ain't finna pull that. You ain't pulling that one tonight. Nah, bro. You did that too many times. You know what I'm saying? You didn't pull that. You didn't pull that whole, oh, I'm sorry, I was out of my brain. You guys are my buddies. No. It was my fault. I shouldn't have done it like that. No. You did what you wanted to do. You wanted to go viral. Well, okay. They about to go viral. It's enough of the foolery. Enough of the clown show. You feel me? This whole clown show stuff has got to end. And this is the end of it. For years, Joe has gotten by with the nonsense. That's what he did. He got by with nonsense. Painting a picture that's not true. Because Joe knows, if I say they have an incentive-based contract, if I say that right away, it makes my argument look stupid of me telling them about accounting. Because they have every right to see the numbers. So to me, the Rory and Mal live stream show that they did, they charged people $2 to watch it too. I gladly paid $2 to watch it. It was over in the first 5 minutes. It was over in the first 5 minutes for me. I knew Joe Budden lied the moment they said, we don't have a contract like that. We don't have regular contracts. We're not employees. We have percentage deals. That's it. We have a percentage deal. And I said, oh, Joe Budden lying. I knew right away he was a liar. I knew why he did it, because then it doesn't make sense. If they're regular employees, none of this makes sense. That makes Joe right. Everything he's saying, who would want to see the books? Why would you want to see the books? You think people at McDonald's, they're going to open up the books? You're getting your money. So you saying it to yourself like, yeah, who would do that? Because you're thinking in your mind, they got regular contracts. And I was just saying what happened with me. I said, it's a little different from mine because I wasn't an employee of DirecTV. I never worked for them. I went and got my own supplies, put everything out, got licensed to use the DirecTV and sell it myself. So I was doing all the legwork. I cut out all the middlemen and took home the majority of the money. Why I'm gonna work for you and be an employee? DirecTV got what they were gonna get, and then I got mine. I had a percentage deal, which was all incentive based. And I told y'all I could set up at Walmart, Best Buy. I was set. So we worked together hand in hand, but I was never an employee. So I didn't have an employee contract. Now they deal, once they said that, I knew right away Joe was lying because I had that deal. Now their situation was exactly like mine. They are not employees. They're not under the same pay structure. Joe can't tell them what to do. He is not their boss. They work together. They're partners. Now, the problem was when this show didn't have any money, a percentage deal is outstanding for you. And the reason why that is because the percentage deal looks out for your best interest, your benefit. No money's coming in, so you don't have to put anybody on salary. Imagine hiring somebody to work for a company that ain't making no money, but you got to keep paying them because you got them on salary. So salary says they got to get paid. They showed up for work. No matter what the show do, they got to get paid. That could be a pain in the ass. So that would put you in the red. Because while you're trying to grow something, you got to pay out a salary. Now, they did contracts, which they got their lawyers, and it was a percentage deal that they negotiated that Joe agreed on. He agreed to all of these things and tried to act as if someone's trying to manipulate a deal to put this together. No, what Joe don't want to tell y'all and trying to get people on his side, this is what's really going on. Joe wants to replace them because they're getting paid too much money, and in the future, their numbers are going up and up and up, and he's not comfortable with them making that kind of money. He wants them on contracts. And they brought it up and said it. He's like, man, he was talking about he gonna put us on salary. And we were like, that's never gonna happen. Why would we do that? Now, salary don't sound like a bad idea. Now that the money's coming in, now you want these people on salary. But who will be stupid enough to go on salary when the numbers are going up? Yeah, he said that to Slaughterhouse. That's what I said. Joe has a track record of destroying things. And when Crooked was on that show, on that pull-up, the one they took down, and Joe said he don't believe in contracts and all that stuff come to the forefront now. Now it all makes sense. Rory and Mal, and hit the like button. They were telling the truth. So before I was on Joe's side, because Joe was making it sound like they had a contract. They were on salary. They were regular employees. They didn't go to work. They're just lazy. But no, Joe lied. Now, I would love to see him come out and rebuke all this. Come on, Joe. You're up. But you know what he gonna do? He gonna try to act like, I've talked about it. I don't want to discuss it no more. It's only gonna get worse. These were my friends, so I apologize. No. You made it sound like they were on salary and they worked for you and they were employees. They're not employees. They're independent contractors. That is different. They have a percentage deal. They are partners. So you are not their boss. Like Mal said, I don't work for you, B. He don't work for you. And you made it sound like he was a crumb when this dude did everything for you. Mal don't care or give a damn about any of this. You came to Mal because Marissa, you fired her via text message and didn't want to answer your phone to tell her why. Because you was attaching your boat to Charlemagne. And was like, oh, you're leaking Drake. He was using Drake to try to boost up his podcast show. And he was like, oh, you just a Drake fan. So I can't trust you. Huh? Marissa had only met Drake probably once or two times in her life. What information could she even have divulged? But this is people's fault because they should know this is how Joe Budden is. He's a shiesty individual. He's untrustworthy. Why would you do business with Joe? When Mal said, dog, when he started wearing those hats, man, when he started wearing these Mary hats, who is this dude? I was saying it. I was like, dog, this dude in here like a Canadian Mountie coming in here with one of them Pharrell hats on. Like, dude, what is he doing? Who is this guy? He's changing right before our eyes. He was like, when did this dude start rocking these hats? Somebody got to tell me something. And that's funny because it's true. When did this dude start rocking all this stuff? He started getting real popular. He started hanging out with Diddy. He wearing suits with Diddy. Joe got real sedity. He was the dirt bomb dude with the sweatshirts. Next thing you know, his beard is lined up, dyed. Doing state of the culture. Again, on state of the culture. What happened? Oh, I got a funny video that's only going to be on the Patreon. I'm not putting that out anywhere. I do a whole parody of Joe Budden and DJ Academics, what their show going to look like. That's hilarious. That's going to be on the Patreon. I was cracking myself up with that one. Yeah, so that's only gonna be on the Patreon. It's a video. Trust me, it's gonna crack you up. Yeah, my Cash App is Carcino. You know that, Solo. You know my Cash App is Carcino. No, my thing is this. You have laid all of these breadcrumbs out to make Rory and Mal look like a bunch of scavengers. They just want to steal from you. You made it look like these people were out to do you in. That's how he made it look. He made it look like they just troublemakers. They here to cause problems. He made it look like Mal was homeless and he gave him a place to live. Mal was like, man, dog, don't assassinate my character, dog. Like, who are you talking to like that? Like, that's just ridiculous. Like he said, dog, you ain't never broke bread with me. He's like, dude, that's a lie. Some of my guys, they done gave you walkthroughs, everything, because of me. What you mean? Like, what? Who is this guy right now? And I've been saying that. People, money don't change people. It brings out what people are already about. What they already are. People think I'm a multimillionaire. Some people in my family. Nuts. I mean, like, if I'm a multimillionaire, I'm going to show it to you. Believe me, that you going to know. If I'm multi, believe me, you going to know it. I ain't one of these people ain't going to. You gonna know, you gonna be that boy. He got that money. I'm like, y'all go know. You go know when I pull up. But people think and they assume because they really don't know. So they'll just make an assumption that you have all these things. Not seeing the work you're putting in, not seeing all the effort you didn't put in to make things possible, to make things happen. They don't see the 18-hour grinds, the 20 hours, the passing out on live streams. They don't see none of this. They don't see all the research you're doing, all the books you had to read. They don't see any of it. They think you just wake up, go on YouTube, they cut you $1 million check, and there you are. These books ain't for show. These books have been read. Now, when I say people got to grind, let me leave that on. Then when I say people got to grind to get to certain positions in life, to get to a place where they're comfortable, where they're happy, and people don't see that, that's the narrative. So it's weird because I've seen the way people act. They act differently around you than the way they used to. And they think you don't know that. I'm like, when I was broke, and I would say some people feel real confident to talk to you any kind of way when you're broke. You ain't got the money. But when you got money, they're afraid. Even though like you ain't gonna give them any, or they're not asking you for any, or they don't need any, it's just the way they treat you. You can get them advice on their marriage, on how they should raise their children, anything. They listen. They be, you know what? He does have some money, so he may be right. But when you're broke, oh, everybody talking to you any old kind of way. Oh, shut up. What you got to say about something? You be like, man, I was just saying, I think maybe he right. You know, maybe you should. Oh, what you know? Shut up. Money. People view it a different way. They view people differently. Because of money, it brings out more of what people have buried. It is surprising that you will find out the people who you thought that was most in your corner will surprise you how much they're not in your corner and how much resentment they really have for you. And it would always be the most shocking individual. It will stun you. And you'll be like, whoa, damn, I never knew that. All right, but now I know. Because the chips were down. But now that the chips are up, and all the way up, now that the chips are all the way up, and they know that you're okay, and they assume that you got a lot of money. They don't know what you got. They just know you don't need them for money. Oh, buddy. People tunes change. You become people's favorite nephew, favorite uncles. That's my favorite child. They're like, when you coming over to get something to eat? Now they want you to come over. Before, if you were starving and needed a plate, oh, is he over here? Oh, tell him we ain't cooked today. But when you don't need the food, here they come. Am I right? Or am I right? You see? It magnifies more what you are. Once Joe Budden got the money, he got more disrespectful. See, Mal, once he was broke, down on his luck with this dog and Marissa, these was his homeboys. He need people to have his back because everybody looked down upon him as a washed up rapper who choked. He had it all, but he choked it up. Joe blew it. So he had to keep the only people that was looking up to him. But if you look at a track record and you see a person that's always losing the people that was friends with him, he's always losing these people. you can start to see why. Joe has never been really successful. He hasn't. He had one hit song. And the rest of his career has been him living off of people, slumming it, grinding, keeping his name out there, but he was never successful. Now the money has increased his arrogance and his ego. He thinks he's the reason love and hip hop is what it is. He thinks that's a show he created. He wasn't joking. Joe really feels like that. Go listen to him. He actually said that. I'm not sensitive about the topic. I related to the topic. I knew it right away what this topic was about. A light bulb went off. And I said, Joe's lying. Immediately. As soon as he said that, I knew why Joe did what he did. I knew what Joe's plan was. Anybody that works with Joe now is not going to have a percentage deal. Oh no, Joe's gonna do salary. Because now he's at a point where having an incentive-based contract where it's a percentage deal, ooh, it's not gonna work out well. They're making too much money now. Get those contracts off the books. Now he feels more comfortable starting anew. And what is starting anew? Getting some whole new people involved. Bringing new people into the equation. That's the answer. That's what he wants. Joe knows. If I could do that, I got what I need. That's all Joe needed. He needed one person to give him the go ahead. That's all. It was Joe's idea that they go and take a month apart. We all got to go to our respective corners for about a month. That was his idea. They agreed. Joe agreed. And then came on the show and said that they left their jobs. That's not what happened, Joe. Why are you painting false narratives? Because he doesn't want the audience to know that he is being a stooge. Or Scrooge, rather. He's stingy. That boy is turning into Gollum. It's mine. They're here because of me. It's my precious. Now, they addressed that about them wanting to own a piece of the show. He's like, naturally, when you go into negotiations, you start somewhere and then you work your way down. He's like, of course, you start from the top. Did we ask for a piece of the show? Yeah. In the beginning, they said no. Okay. It's part of a negotiation. It wasn't like that's what we were stuck on, and I'm just this guy that's out here pushing and driving it. And Joe keeps pushing this narrative as if, and this is another thing that pisses off off Mal. It's like he's pushing this narrative like it's a ridiculous narrative, but he's pushing it like, yeah, and Mal's with me. He was like, and Joe was like, man, take him. Man, that made Mal so damn upset. And Mal had every reason to be upset. Mal had every damn reason to be upset. He made it sound like Mal was some trick. Keep him. Like, really? Is that what Mal worth is to you? Mal's doing what's best for him. Him and Rory are not in the same deal. Rory is his own entity, which means he has his own percentage deal. Mal has his own percentage deal. They both have individual contracts. They both had their individual lawyers. Huh? Mal's doing what's best for him under his terms of his deal of his contract. They're independent contractors. There's a very key word in there. They never said they were independent contractors, but that's what they are. There's a key word in there, Joe. It's called independent. So Rory and Mal are working for Rory and Mal. What you doing does not make sense. They have a percentage deal with you. So that means if they want to see a list of accounts that comes in to the company to show what all their earnings are that comes into the Joe Budden podcast, they're supposed to see that. Because that's the only way they're going to know what they are supposed to get paid. Why doesn't Joe Budden understand that? Because if that was the other way around, Joe Budden would understand it right away, wouldn't he? A simpleton can understand that. And Joe knows this. That's why he lied. He misled. I won't say he lied. He misled all of you. Me, everybody, the whole world, he misled and made it look like they had regular contracts and they were employees. He made it look like that to make it look ridiculous for what they were asking for. So I thank Rory and Mal for making that clear, because once they said that in the first 5 minutes, I knew everything Joe Budden said was a lie. Was an unbelievable big fat lie. No, he's coming off the percentage deal. They want to make sure the numbers are right. Because what they've been seeing hasn't been, the lawyers is like, this can't be right. So they want to see the books for their money. How could you be mad with somebody that want to see the books? That's all I'm saying. How are you mad because somebody want to see the books? Why is he so defensive? Because I told you, Joe wants to sign people to salaries now because he's seen what he got to pay out, and Joe don't like it. Because when they did this, they were broke. When they signed the deals, there was no money coming in. So when you had no money coming in, what could you really complain about when everybody getting a contract? You don't care. Nothing really coming in. Now, money's coming in. And oh boy, money's only gonna go up. And now that you know that, money's gonna go up. What happens after that? Problems. Here come the problems. They have been trying to see the numbers since 2019. They were sent some numbers. They went over to their lawyers. Their lawyer said, these aren't correct. Yeah, the proof is in the pattern. Joe Budden blows up situations everywhere he goes. And Slaughterhouse, he found a problem. Slaughterhouse said, look, man, we got the money there. They finna put an album out. Joe, the money's there. All we gotta do is to put that album together. The money gonna be there. Let's just make the songs. Okay, there was issues. But Joe made things worse. He didn't care about everybody else. He cared about Joe. Slaughtermouse. Then he makes a song kissing Eminem's ass. The Slaughtermouse song. That's what I'm telling you. I got a funny Patreon video coming out. I actually make fun of Parks too in that video where I'm doing Joe Budden and DJ Academics. What it would be like if they did the show together. And this was before the Rory and Mal video aired. That's only going to be on the Patreon. I'm telling you, it's crazy. When I tell you it's done, it's done. This is what it looks like. What I tell you, the video is done already. Joe Budden and DJ Academics, what the show would look like. I told you, it's already done. DJ Academics with the liquor bottle. Yeah, this is only going on the Patreon. But it's completely hilarious. Yeah, so this is, believe me, this was done. This was done hours ago, man. It's gonna be on the Patreon only, man. And you're gonna crack up watching that on the Patreon. I definitely would guarantee you're gonna laugh. I'll play a little snippet of it. Welcome to the new Joe Budden podcast show. It's me and your boy Academics over there. And we're going to talk about a couple of things today. This is the fill out show, as I told you. Hey. Man, what I tell you, man, I tell you. It's hilarious. I was cracking myself up. If I laugh at myself, it's funny. Like, I was watching Sino Damas. I don't know how many of y'all have seen Sino Damas, but Sino Damas cracks me up. I've watched Sino Damas 4 times myself, making myself laugh. And I'm wondering, how did I did that with a straight voice? I mean, with a straight face. I'm like, how did I do this with a straight face? Because I'm cracking up laughing right now. Yeah, all I did, and for those who don't know, that was Paul Mooney with the Negro Damas on the Chappelle show. And we was like, man, if I did something like that, how would it be? Sino Damas. People, they in there trying to find out what was the funniest joke. They was like, man, I wonder what was the funniest joke that you said on there. A lot of people like Bill Cosby or the Demi Lovato one. My favorite one was the LeBron. My favorite one was LeBron. Sino, why is LeBron so confident that the Lakers are going to win the NBA championship? Because Adam Silver has already sent him the text message. Yeah, man, I was surprised I kept a straight face. I was surprised that there was no laughter. I thought, man, how did I do that? Because I must have had an out-of-body experience because I can't watch that video without cracking up laughing. As soon as it comes on, I'm laughing. So I'm like, man, how in the world did I do this with a straight face? Is Joe Budden done now? I wouldn't necessarily say Joe Budden is done. I'm just saying he got a lot of questions to ask. He can't just get away with apologizing no more. You know, it's pretty soon your apologies run on deaf ears when people didn't heard it before. They're like, come on, man, we didn't heard all this before. Come on, stop. Right. It's like, dog, come on. We didn't heard all this before. Joe Budden apologized for all he's done. Like, come on, man. We didn't heard it. You do this every year, every time. I mean, everybody knew this was going to happen with Joe. Charlemagne did that when he interviewed them face to face, saying that they were replaceable. Joe's going to replace you. And Joe would never correct people when they start talking like that. Like, he never took up for Rory and Mal when academics and everybody else was dogging him. He never took up for these dudes. So when they did their show today, they aired Joe out without having to air Joe out. They just told the truth. It was transparent, it was clear, it was concise, and it was on point. No one ever asked for Joe Budden. You wouldn't be listening to the Joe Budden podcast if it wasn't for Rory and Mal. So stop. Tell me a Joe Budden podcast episode you watched that didn't have them on it. You did not get on there. You did not get on there until they were there. Oh, I'll name this podcast. I'll name this pod later. The name of this was called I'll Name This Response Later. Until they come up with a name. But they gonna do their own thing. Rory and Mal could do their own show. But they'll have to have a third. Eventually. We don't know what they're gonna do. I know they're going to court. So they finna sue. That's obvious. They lawyers is definitely Joe gonna have to open the books. Joe ain't gonna like it, but Joe gonna have to open the books. And if everything is everything, then cool. That was a different scenario. Everyday Struggle, Joe Budden did not own the show. Joe thought it was a show. It was a show he created and did all the work for, but he didn't own. He didn't own Everyday Struggle. That's why he couldn't take it with him. Complex owned the show. It was their show. It didn't belong to Joe. So he was basically just working there. His name did not show up in the mass as co-creator. He did not fight for that, even though he co-created the show. So some of this you got to take onus of. Yes, they exposed the truth. Once they told the whole world that they do not work for Joe Budden, they are independent contractors. They never stated that out their mouth, but that's exactly what they are. They are not employees of the Joe Budden podcast show. They are partners. They have a percentage deal. So if you have a percentage deal, you have to know. Right, they're not W-2, they're 1099. And definitely, they have to know, okay, what percentage of the deal that they're going to have. They need to know that. They got to see all the money that's coming in because they got to pay their own taxes. So in order for them to know exactly what the numbers are, they can't just be sent something that, they're just giving them basics. They got to see all the money that's coming into the company because that's the only way they're going to know if they're getting their percentage correctly. Why doesn't Joe understand that? That is the problem. That is the only problem. But if someone takes offense to that, like, what, you think I'm robbing you? No, not you. Accounting's not done correctly. They sent them a paper. The lawyer said it's not correct. These aren't the correct numbers. There's no way it is. And like Mal said, look, if we do 15,000 people in there, there's no way we should be making the same amount of money if we got 20,000 and we're getting the same percentage number. It's like, that's not correct. That can't be. That doesn't even make sense. You don't have to be a math executive or somebody to pass algebra trig to understand what in the hell that is. Yeah, Joe is out here trying to apologize because he know he's bumped his head. He bumped his head on that. Yeah, if the money brought out more of his ego, and it was an uncomfortable part of his ego. His ego became too big for people to deal with. The people that normally deal with him, it became even larger and greater. So they didn't even want to deal with him no more because he was changing to a whole new guy because the money was bringing more of it out. They start to be all about him. And all of a sudden, he don't need people no more. People are a burden to him. We had that conversation earlier in this video about people with money. It brings things out of them. They're tolerant. Even you, if they believe you have money, you could be disrespectful to them. They'll tolerate it if they don't have money. You could be dead wrong. People will see your point of view because you got money. Joe believes it's all because of him. Exactly. Mal brought that up. You were around all these people who wouldn't even talk to you when you was a rapper. That's true. Diddy and none of these dudes were dealing with you when you was a rapper. And he knows because he was there. He was at them shows where Joe Budden was performing at doggone chitlin factories. When people were trying to put him on there. Joe was making mixtapes. They weren't pushing his second album. Joe was out the door. He dissed Jay-Z and was out the door. When Tidal tried to lowball them, what did they do? Did they come back and say, yo, Tidal offered us this great, outstanding deal? Nah, they was like, Tidal tried to lowball us. We turned down the Tidal deal. That's cool. They didn't go for the okie doke with Jay, and that was cool. You know, but don't try to be one face and then switch to another face, because then people know you're not real. See what I'm saying? People know you're not real then. When you start being one face and switch to another face, they know you're not real. People see through that. They see right through it. That's why I always am transparent with people, because I always knew what it was like to be that person on the other side. So if I'm the boss, I'm be like, look, I'm not somebody who's on a high hat, I'm the boss type of guy, and I'm freaking out and, you know, like really feeling myself because I'm the boss. That don't mean anything if the job ain't getting done. So the boss is only as good as the people working for him. Because in the end, y'all gonna be the ones to get the job done, not the boss. You know, and it helps because I've been there. I worked at a place where I got a W-2 every year. And you doing more work and getting the same pay. There's no chance to advance. None of that. See what I'm saying? When I'm talking like there's no way to advance in the company. You got all this experience working there. They gonna bring in a family member, a grandson, who's a little baby. By the time he's 22, he gonna come in as vice president of the company. And your kid's gonna end up working at the company, at your job. And they're gonna be working for his grandkid. You got no chance to advance. And he spent his years going through college, partying, not taking anything seriously, just bouncing through life. Because he knows when he screws up all his chances in life, trying to chase whatever it is he's trying to chase, he can just fall back on daddy's money, and daddy gonna give him a job. And now you gotta take kudos from him. How many times we've seen that? Too many times. Too many times. I ain't described Donald Trump. I described every human being who's ever owned a company. That's what I described. This happens worldwide. All the time. Now, here's what you got to decide. What are you going to do? They should have a female on the show. It should be Rory and Mal and a female. They should get Marissa to do it. Because see, Marissa She knows Mal. She lived in there with Mal. Then you get a female perspective on it. Right. If you got Rory, she don't really know Rory like that, but still, that dynamic fits. You get Marissa in there with Rory and Mal, and y'all do the show. And I guarantee you, all of the drama, all of the ego crap, that stuff gonna cease. Because I'm gonna tell you, more than Rory, Mal was a key to that show. He truly was. He was a big difference. Because I'm like, this dude, he is so negative. And Joe was like, remember when Mal was here? He was always the happy guy. I'm like, happy? I'm like, man, you ever like you gotta do something and somebody is slowing you up? I'm like, and you trying to figure out like the hell? I mean, for real, they really just told the truth and laid everything out on the table. I was proud of them.
Of this was about money. That we said it was not about money. And then Joe came on to that podcast and said, this is about money. Rory's asking about money. Let's dead that now. Spotify deal is about to end even before.
Woo! Woo! We finna dead that right now. No, we know what's going on. We know what we're gonna have to do. No, it ain't no three sides. It's the truth. And that's it. Like he said, Mal said it clear as day. He said, I'm not telling my side, I'm telling the truth. Joe told his side. Everybody else is telling the truth. I believe them. I believe everybody in the equation whose name isn't Joe Budden. Straight like that. So with that being said, it's your boy Sino. I'm out. Don't forget to subscribe to the page. Check out the Patreon video. I'm gonna put that there's comedy out. What Joe Budden and academics show would look like if they did that. That's gonna be on the Patreon only. So I'm out.